All right, so if you did not look at the factor completely notes, go back and look at that first. You're gonna need that knowledge and to go to solving completely because solving's gonna take it one step further. So remember, just kind of as a side note, factoring. I didn't click on my, gotta change my colors as usual. You see this 90% of the time because I forget. All right. So factoring right here, remember factoring, it's gonna give you something like, I don't know, x minus 4 and x plus 5. Solving, remember we set each part equal to 0. And we solve, so x would equal 4 and x would equal negative 5. The difference in the two. So solving, you're gonna get your solutions, your zeros, your roots, your answers, whatever you want to call them, and go from there. So that's the difference in the two. The previous video, make sure you watch it first, is factoring, because we're going to take that factoring and take it the next step and actually solve it in this lesson. So I'm going to assume you know how to do that in order to move on. So, stop it. So find the other zeros here. So I'm given that 1, 0 is x is equal to 2. So I already know what it's equal to. So I can take it 3, 2, 1, 0. I'm good to go here. So 1, negative 5, negative 12, 36. Bring it down. So 1 times 2 is 2. I got a negative 3. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. I get a negative 18. Negative 18 times 2 is negative 36. I get a 0. It should check out, which is perfect. So I'm left with x squared minus 3x minus 18. So remember your x factor. So minus 18. This one should be quick because my a is 1. So what factors 18 subtract to give you 3. So negative 6 times 3. So x minus 6, x plus 3. So x is going to equal 6 here. X will equal negative 3. When you set equal to 0, change the sign. So it's factored completely. So once again, the difference in the two answers. If I say factor it completely, I would write x minus 2, x minus 6, and x plus 3. That is factored completely. Since I say solve, I'm going to set each part equal to 0. So I want to say x is equal to 2, x is equal to 6, and x is equal to negative 3. So finding the other zeros, in this case, it would just be negative 3 and positive 6. But if you include that 2 because it's given, I'm good. So make sure we're knowing the difference in solving and factoring completely. All right, find the other zeros. So given the equation, given that f of negative 14 is 0. So remember what that means is that when x is negative 14, my y is equal to 0. So when I plug in negative 14, that's a solution. My answer is 0, so that works. So that's saying x plus 14 was the factor. Cool. The easier way is it's negative 14, so you can go ahead and combine it. So put it in there. So 1, 11, negative 150, negative 15, 12. Don't freak out about the big number. So bring down the 1 times negative 14, you just get a negative 3. Negative 3 times negative 14 is 42. So that gives me a negative 108. Times negative 14 is positive 1512. It should check out. So you're left here with x squared minus 3x minus 108. So what factors in negative 108 give you negative 3? 12 and 9. So this factors into x minus 12, x plus 9. So my answers here, I was given negative 14. Change the sign, so move that over, so a positive 12 and a negative 9. Those are my zeros. And we're good to go. All right, so some applications. Look at these rectangles. These are the ones you're going to see. I give you one side, I give you the area. So remember, area is length times width. So the long way, I got x squared plus 10x plus 21 is the area, equals the length times whatever that width is. So I know a factor. I'm given a factor. this is how we're going to apply it. So I can take this a new way instead of factoring and dividing, which is what you could do. I got -3, I'm gonna plug it into 11021. I should get a remainder of 0 because that is a factor. So this is giving me x plus 7, and that is your other factor because that's what we're looking for. All right, B, same thing. So I can take -4, now it's the opposite, 1, 2, -8. You can go quick now. So 1 times -4 is -4. Add down, you get -2. -2 times -4 is +8. Add down, you get 0. So x minus 2 is my answer. And then C, if you want to pause it and go through it, you can. So opposite, so -5, because we're setting the 0 equal to it. I got 1, I got 8, and I got 15. Bring down the 1. 1 times -5 is -5. Add down, you get 3. -15, you get 0. Perfect. So x plus 3 is the other factor. Cool. All right, so let's go through some terminology, some words, make sure we understand some writing. So the first one, what are the similarities and or differences between these 4 statements? Okay, so f of 5 is equal to 0. So that tells me my 0 is x equals 5. My factor would be x minus 5. All right, here, I just got x equals 5. So that goes ahead and tells me my x is 5. It tells me my factor would be x minus 5. Just kind of going and looking at it. So x minus 5 is 0. So it tells me my factor is x minus 5. But I can solve it for x equals 5. This one's the different one. F of -5 is 0. So that tells me -5. So my factor would be x plus 5. So these 3 are all the same. The bottom one is a little bit different. So just so you know the difference of the 2. Remember function notation, f of x is always equal to y. And we go from there. So these were your zeros, these are your factors. All right, how can you determine, given a linear binomial is a factor, explain your answers. So remember here, kind of think about it. How can we determine if I'm given something, if it's a factor or a 0 of the polynomial? So what we can do, if we use our synthetic division and we get a remainder of what? Zero. Then we can say it's a factor. And the value is 0. So that's kind of looking at it. Cool, so if we do synthetic division and we get a remainder of 0, we're good to go. What does the remainder about synthetic substitution has been done also represent? So first thing, it can tell us if it's a factor or not. Remember, if it's a factor, it's equal to 0, not equal to 0, just by looking at the remainder. Second thing is if we do substitution, synthetic substitution, I'll write that out. I don't want to be lazy. The remainder is your solution. So for instance, if I took 8 and divided yada 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 and got -3, f of 8 would equal -3. Nice and easy, quick way to do things. Cool. All right. So this is just applying it, going through, using what we know to solve completely now and get our final solutions. So I hope this helps. If you got questions, let me know. Other than that, have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.